Hey, my fellow property managers, Marc Cunningham at Grace Property Management. So just a few weeks ago, I attended and spoke at the first annual Rentvine Users Conference out in Florida. We've been with Rentvine for our accounting and all-purpose software for almost 4 years now, and they had their first annual event. They had me come out and I spoke on the topic of not just growth, because everybody talks about growth and we all talk about growth and it's growth, but how do we think a little differently about growth, about strategic thinking, forward thinking, thinking 3 steps ahead of growth. So with the permission of Rentvine, I took some clips of that talk. I want to share them with you now. Here's a couple random clips on some thoughts that we use in our company as it relates to growth. At the end of these couple clips, I'll come back and I'll share my biggest takeaways on how we approach growth, and I think how you should be thinking about it as well. Here we go. I want to talk to you this morning about the most over-talked concept in our industry, growth. We hear about growth. If you're not growing, you're dying, right? Great marketing ploy that our vendors tell us all the time that way. And what I want to do is I want to approach growth from a little bit of a different mindset, a strategic mindset. If we step back from the idea of just beyond, hey, how do I grow? How do I get another door? And we have to ask ourselves that from time to time. But there comes a point in time where you go beyond that, hey, how do I get my next door? And you start thinking a little more strategically around that idea of what should be my growth strategy? How should I think about it to put a plan in place? And strategy is one of those words that we throw around a lot, we use, but it's kind of hard to define. And what I mean by strategy is simply the idea of thinking beyond the step in front of you. How essential is growth to my business? And the considerations really around that are, how much do I need to grow? Do I need to grow? Is it true that if you're not growing, you're dying? There are many companies who get to a place in their business size where they're content and they're good. And they say, I don't need to grow more. This is where I am. I'm built for this number of door count. It's fine. I don't need to grow. But the question that I'm often asked is, Mark, I'm going to scale up for growth. Hire for growth. Scale for growth. That is a dangerous game to play, my friends. If you've ever done that, you have probably learned that that doesn't necessarily result in growth. If you build it, they don't necessarily come. You can build a business to manage twice as many doors as you're managing now. That doesn't have any correlation at all to actually bringing on new doors. Bringing new doors on and managing those doors are 2 separate functions. And sometimes I think what we do is we want to grow so bad, and it's just not working. So rather than put the time and effort and resources into bringing the leads on and growing, we say, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to build my business for growth. That's easier to do. Don't do that. You've got to have this part first before you're going to have this part over here. This part will figure itself out. You will figure it out. And we also need to be very, very cautious, in my opinion, of the big fish clients. The lead that calls your office and says, yes, I've got 35 doors, and I need to hire a property management company. And you immediately start salivating. And you're thinking, wouldn't that be great to have 35 new doors? Oh, that would take care of 3 months worth of growth for me. Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. Because what comes along with those large clients oftentimes? Expectations. Do they want deals? In my market, they do. Do they want to redline the property management agreement? They want a few extra special things that most clients don't because they're big. And they are big. And they know they're big. And they know they have the power to negotiate. And so you know what? I know normally in your company, your management agreement says that you handle all maintenance items over $500. But I would like to be contacted in advance for anything over $200. You say, not a problem. I can make that happen for you. We have always philosophically believed in keeping our operational capacity just behind our door growth. Meaning, if we manage 100 doors, I want to be built and spending resources to manage 90, just a little bit less. It is so hard if you are a control freak. If you're a control freak, raise your hand. Or I should say maybe the person sitting next to you probably knows better than you do. Raise their hand for them, right? You know who you are. My fellow control freaks, let me speak to you for a minute. Everything I just talked about is really hard because we want control and we want to know everything. Well, you can't if you're going to grow. We've got 1,200 properties. I haven't been to all of them. Early on, when we were smaller, I could have told you where the water shutoff valve is on every one of our single-family homes. I would remember. Yeah, you go in the basement, you take a left, there's the little graffiti on the stone wall there, and there's a shutoff right there. All right, well, I know that went fast. So before I share 3 takeaways for you to think about strategic growth for your company, I want to thank the sponsor for this video, Reconcile Daily. So Reconcile Daily was at the Rentvine conference, and what Reconcile Daily does is they take care of the most boring and most difficult part of all of our jobs, which is trust accounting. How do we make sure our books are in balance, that we're not stealing money from owner A to pay owner B? It's easier than you think to mess this up. Reconcile Daily does just what they say. They reconcile your books every day to make sure your trust account is compliant, accurate, keep you out of trouble, keep your books tight. They don't just work with Rentvine, but jump on their website. I'll put a link here. Reach out, find out how they can review your books to keep you tight and in compliance for everything trust accounting related. So a couple takeaways for me, for our company, that we think about growth. Number 1 is we want to grow first and then scale for it. If you find yourself being seduced by the idea of I'll grow my company and then the growth will follow, you're cheating. Don't do that. Prove to yourself, earn the right to scale up for growth. And the way you do that is by learning how to grow organically. Bring on the 1, bring on the 2. The scale will take care of itself. Secondly, be cautious. Be very, very cautious, my friends, of those large clients. We just turned a client down this week who had 163 doors. I'll tell that story on a future video. It just wasn't a good fit. We want to be cautious of the big clients because often they're a shot in the arm, but they're not a strategic way to think about growth. And then lastly, stay lean in your capacity. Don't overscale for growth that may or may not materialize. We've always believed in staying very lean, and it's paid dividends for our company over time. And my friends, I hope that's a little bit helpful. Jump on our website, pmbuild.com, where you'll find more information. Until next time, and as always, I wish you success and thank you, Rentvine, for bringing me out.